Greetings, everyone. It is time. We are back from a long hiatus of holidays, and I got a bad flu and lost my voice. It's still not all the way back. So I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of talking tonight. I am just here as the figurehead of Brony debates, the arbiter of free speech in the Brony fandom, the symbol of hope and other controversial opinions. And joining me to help me get through this is, of course, the gorgeous Princess Heather Blossom. How are you doing tonight, babe?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing my nails while we do this because I don't even give a frick.
Awesome. And
I'm tweeting that we're live.
Yeah, so am I. We also got DJ Skywalker joining us again. It's been a little bit, man. How you doing?
Doing all right. Yeah, they remembered I exist.
Well, we never forgot. It was just kind of an open invitation, and we haven't heard from you in a little bit. I'm working.
Here, we'll make fun of Reddit.
Yep, Reddit is very easy to make fun of. I'm working very hard to get it back to a position, myself back to a position where I can actually do work and prepare for these streams and get some real topics going. But in the meantime, we got a whole bunch of nonsense to deal with and talk about. But we also have to thank our patrons, especially those on the $10 and up tier, such as DJ and Heather themselves. There's also Shady Oak, Autoknight, Emerald Spencer, Senko, Rain, Billy, Alden, Kanto, Mr. Sonic, Alicia, StarChaser, VentureCorp, Willyzin, Icanus, Vulpecula, Jimmy, J. Yoshi, TheRaptor's Talon, and Dark Malcontent. Be sure to check out all of those links in the description to learn more about all of that. Now then, with that being said, and the two people watching us, you know what? I'm going to go just drop this link over here real quick in the symposium so people can see that we're live. There we go. Let's see. What is our first topic? We've got a thread here. I'd like to stir the pot a bit. Share your My Little Pony hot takes and controversial opinions. So I can already feel my voice starting to strain here. Heather,
you want me to read this first one?
Yeah, take it away.
All right, let me make your screen big. Oh, can you zoom in a little?
Oh, yes, I can.
Okay, so the description itself said, I'd alter Season 9's ending so that instead of vaporizing King Samura and petrifying Kozaglo, Lord Tyrek, and Queen Chrysalis, they were simply imprisoned, because that worked so fucking well the first time. Then I'd add a final season focused entirely on rehabilitating them like they did with Discord. They didn't focus a season on that. To truly get across the message that love and friendship conquer all. I think it was important that there were some irredeemable characters, like characters you could not reason with and characters that could not be befriended, because that's kind of reflective of real life. You know, like you can't just like try to rehabilitate everybody. Like some people just don't want to change. Like that's the first part of therapy too. You have to want change to happen. You have to make the effort, and there are people who won't. And I guess this is a fantasy world. If you want everything to be happy-go-lucky and rainbows and sunshine all the time, sure, that's great. I kind of respect a plotline more that is kind of real about it. Like, hey, there's some people that are just terrible people and will not change, and you need to learn to deal with that.
In fact,
I think that's what makes them so much better is that it was the last season.
One of the
where they basically have to learn that, but it's a subtle one.
One of the hardest...
Yeah, and some fans aren't just accepting of that. They're just like, no, we need to rehabilitate everyone. Like, look, do it in fan fiction, okay? Like, this, it's just not how the show went.
One of the hardest lessons I've had to learn, and I'm still learning in my life here, is that not only... I've always known you can't help everybody. You can only help the people that really want to be helped. But something that I often have to wrestle with is that, by and large, you can't help. Like, most people don't want to be helped. Now, the show is really good at giving you some, like, blueprints on how to recognize who can be helped and who can't be helped, and gives the average person some tools to help figure out how to navigate certain situations, as long as the episode itself isn't flanderizing its own plot, which was rare but happened on occasion. Yeah, but that's something that, it's not only something that you have to deal with, it's something that's going to be extraordinarily common in your life. Like 99% of people are just going to be stuck in their ways.
Mm-hmm. Well, we should move on to the first comment. The first comment is going to be very long, I can see, so I will also read this for you.
All right.
They have a lot to say. Let's hope that some of it's intelligible. Okay, so Judas of Bilal, interesting, said people usually feel bad for Cozy or Chrysalis, more so if they feel bad for the villains at all, but Tyrek ended up being weirdly sympathetic to me by the end of Season 9. That season did a strange number of things to make him seem more likable. Of course, there's the moment where he and the other two experience friendship and enjoy it before turning against it, but even compared to the other two, Tyrek is the one who seems to not just enjoy it, but actually consider being evil in the first place. Oh. He catches a small bird in Summer Sun Setback and even looks oddly concerned for it. He talks to his grandma in his dreams and becomes defensive of her? I don't remember that. And Discord in the finale implies his evil has to do with trying to please his father. Yeah, he does have like a familial history we didn't get to go into. I can kind of get on board with this guy saying. He became the way he did, at least in part due to a family issue, which is exactly the kind of backstory a real villain would usually get in this show. Yeah, like Tyrek might have just needed therapy. Despite all this, the show never has anybody even try to reason with him or reach out to him, except his brother over 1,000 years ago, something which we don't even get to see. Even a lot of fans will brush him off as irredeemable more often than even the other two, I feel, or they just don't care about him at all. It's just weird for him to have this many little sympathetic moments and then get treated the way he does by the show. Usually the bad guys don't have anything sympathetic about them up until their reformation, sorry. I mean, if you go back and look at Discord as a villain, for example, there was genuinely nothing sympathetic about him. Like, he's obviously a terrible person and he's remorseless, but the show has reformed him people exactly like that before. And Tyrek has more sympathetic traits than some of those guys, so it's kind of weird that he just gets stoned in the end without anybody ever making even a token attempt to reach out to him. If the writers wanted him to be unredeemed, then fine, but I would have liked a scene of somebody at least trying. You know what? I can agree with this. Tyrek was really a place of just untapped potential. Like, we got tidbits of his backstory through Discord, quite a lot that would have been very interesting to delve into. And then there's his relationship with Cozy Glow in particular. The reason Cozy Glow knew a lot of things is because she was pen pals with Tyrek, and we never really got into how that started, what their relationship is, why he even felt like it was even entertained the fact that he was talking to a young Pegasi filly to help her do evil and stuff. Like, it's just, there's a lot of questions left unanswered.
I still need to know how they got in contact with each other in the first place.
Derpy.
Yeah, like, there's so many questions. Damn it, Derpy.
It would be Derpy.
That could have been a canonical explanation that, like, freaking Derpy, I don't know, maybe she was trying to write someone else and Tyrek got her letter instead and Derpy wouldn't leave until he wrote something back, and that's how that started. That would have been a funny canonical explanation.
DJ, what do you think about all this?
I think the issue is with trying to give Tyrek a redemption is a lot of it creatively would have had to have been a way to depower him earlier. Because no matter, at any chance they would have tried to redeem him, his power set just makes it impossible for them to be safely around him.
Didn't they seem to be safely around him when he was in Tartarus? I mean, that would have been a chance to talk to him. Like, maybe he was
yes, but stuck in a cage.
To talk.
Why would he be willing to talk while he's in a cage? He's like, I hate you all. Let me out of here so I can kill you.
Why are criminals willing to reform in prisons, DJ? There's a lot of questions here.
Most of them are not, though. Like people tend to get worse in prison.
Building in prison, but at least they can roam around us sometimes. Unless they're stuck in solitary right now.
Well, that's besides
I felt bad
the
for
point.
the other things in Tartarus, because the other things in Tartarus just look kind of like, we don't know why we're here. We're just things. We're just animals and shit.
It was monsters.
That's not cool. Just to lock them up for being a monster.
It was the prison for monsters. Now, if I remember correctly, in like Greek mythology, Tartarus was also a prison for the monsters, but it was like the prison for like the primordial gods, the ones that like predated Zeus, like Tiamat and Kronos and Gaia, and it was a prison for things like that, not just a tiger that's also a snake or something like that. Or it was
the Chimera.
Yeah. And then Cerberus was supposed to be guarding it, but then he wasn't. Yeah, the Titans. Thank you, Empty Soul.
So much.
Yeah, so when you invoke, especially when Twilight was all worried about it in season 2, when you invoke Tartarus and Cerberus or Cerberus, whatever, and you're thinking, we've got to deal with the Titans, and then it's just like very underwhelming, and Tyrek was the most dangerous one in there, but I think DJ's got a point. Tyrek, he might have all of this stuff going on, but you can't talk with him about it because he's just violent. He doesn't want to talk. He wants to suck the life out of ponies. And as you saw, like when Discord tried to talk to him about it, or when anybody tried to talk to him about it, his first reaction was to, metaphorically throw a punch. That's not someone you can reason with. So yeah, we didn't try.
What we need is someone as strong as him.
Yeah.
And that's hard to match with his ability, but I feel like
need someone who's immune to it.
That's true, and I feel like there might have been. I just
you need someone who's immune to it, and also a good therapist. You need the double threat there, and that's just not going to happen.
I could also see I know someone could bring up like Grogar's bell to counteract his powers, but if you just took his abilities away, he'd be even less likely to talk with someone.
Well, you know what? He's got 1,000 years. We'll see what happens.
The closest he got to talking to anybody
always 1,000 years
was when he had no powers, and he, was trying to smooth talk his way out of getting captured by Discord at the end of season 4.
Free as a bird.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't think it's like, yeah, this person might have a point that nobody tried, but also nobody could. And to be totally honest, nobody would. I don't think this Judas of Belial here, if probably knows at least one person that's like Tyrek in his own life. And I guarantee you he doesn't talk to that guy or try to reach out or anything like that. Because you can't. And doing so is dangerous. Rusty saying, I feel Tyrek would manipulate whoever tried to reform him like how the Joker manipulated Harley Quinn.
I wonder...
Do you think that's how Cozy got crazy?
What was that, DJ?
I don't want to think of them as like a Joker Harley situation. That's gross.
Well, not on the romantic side, but like a similar kind of manipulation. I think T-Rex made her that way.
Maybe she tried to befriend him and he corrupted her. That'd be interesting.
Interesting, I guess. Let's move on to the next one.
Never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
All right. Who wants to read Impressive Owl?
You want to turn DJ, or do you want me to do it? Yeah.
I got this.
Yeah.
I've answered these questions before, so I'll state one I haven't yet. Oh, jeez, I just got spooked by a dog.
Good dog.
I don't mind the traditionally cringe fan content tropes so long as they are executed with a reasonable level of skill. I'm talking human and Equestria, OCX canon, yes, even if the canon character has a canon love interest, Alicorn OCs, Grimdark AUs, and other such things. I'm not going to dismiss any of these just because I'm supposed to think they are cringe. If the art is good, I'm going to like it. If the story is written with a proper grammar, good prose, and a fun plot, then I'm not going to pretend I don't enjoy it. I'm also not inclined to look down on someone just because they use these tropes. Fan content is first and foremost meant to be for your own enjoyment, and as long as you're having fun making it and aren't supporting anything reprehensible, then I don't see any reason to ridicule.
That's
I kind of
nice.
morally have to support this because this is exactly what I'm currently writing.
I support this because, yeah, like, there's always exceptions to these. Like, you think, oh, yeah, human and Equestria is dumb or whatever. But, I've had a few fics that I've really kind of liked that kind of, mess with that a little bit. And, of course, I love Grimdark AUs. I love exploring, like, the creepypasta stuff. And people would say that's cringe all the time, but it's plenty of good fun. You guys really just gotta be like, forget about just being cringe and just have fun with the fandom stuff,
Yeah, and they're pretty much right that there's very few actually bad tropes. It's always in the execution of the tropes on how it's determined.
Yeah, you gotta just just accept the fact though that not everything seems cool to everyone. No matter how cool you think a certain fanfiction is, someone's gonna think that fucking, I don't know, that Alicorn OC Grimdark fanfiction is lame and whatever. It's cool to use. That's enough.
So the thing about, firstly, let me just come out at the start and say I agree with Impressive Owl as well. But what I need to point out here is that it's not necessarily the concept itself that's cringe, and the fandom at large is not gonna be aware of this type of thing. But it is the execution. However, the caveat of that is the people that want to write these tropes are also the type of people that can't execute it. So, and I don't know what most of the time, right? And I'll clarify that further in a minute. But
I'm literally writing a story that has those first four things.
And I've literally done it myself in the past too. That's not the point I'm trying to make here, right? So the most of the time, and we're talking within a 99 percentile here, the people that want to write these tropes can't write. So then when they write it, it's bad. And I don't know exactly what is that psychological correlation that just being bad at executing these tropes makes you want to write these tropes. But as I was saying, I tried to do the same thing when I wrote Dreamquestria. I wanted to see if I could spin, if I was a good enough writer to, put a creative and well executed spin on cringy tropes. We all know that I failed because they're cringy tropes, and I guess, it turns out I'm not that good as a writer. But yeah, you don't see good writers most of the time doing these things, and I don't know what is the cause and effect there.
I think it might be that these tropes or prompts or whatever might be a little more difficult to work with than the people who typically get overambitious to take them on. Like, it's hard to write a grimdark. You can like horror, but writing it is a whole other different thing. And I guess it's just rare for someone to have the passion and the work ethic to be like, yeah, I'm going to try and do this. And then writing is a difficult thing. Writing is difficult. Art is difficult. A lot of things are just very hard to do. We have to actually stand back and think about wow, it actually takes a lot of hard work to be good at making art or writing a good story or all of that stuff. It's a lot of trial and error. And honestly, the majority of the stuff you see is going to be bad because there's a million people who tried, failed, and might have taken a long time to get better at it. And that all that bad stuff is still posted there for everyone to see, so they are honest with where they came from. But yeah, mostly you're seeing the bad stuff because everyone had to start somewhere.
You know what? I'm gonna come out straight and ask this for the sake of my own curiosity. On a scale of 1 to 10, where would you guys put Dreamquestria in terms of overall quality?
You know what I think? I don't think it was bad, but I don't think it was for me because there was nothing in there. Like I say, like I always say this kind of, but like it didn't have anything that pandered to me. Not that you always need to pander to me, but it didn't have anything in there that I really like. It didn't focus on the characters I liked. It didn't focus on an OC I was incredibly interested in. It didn't have things that I liked in it, but I don't think it was badly written.
Alrighty then, DJ. I don't know if you read it or not.
I don't believe I have.
Uh,
I'm
got
usually pretty picky about the stories I read.
Yeah, I think I wrote that sucker back in 2012 too. So it is a 13-year-old story at this point. Let's see here. Let's move on to the next one. And this will be the last one of this thread by the looks of it. Okay, DJ, why don't you take this one from Familiar Object?
Probably my biggest hot take is that just because we never saw Scootaloo fly, it doesn't mean she never was able to. So many fanfics have provided various possible explanations for why she couldn't, plus with magic and potions and artificial limbs existing, I have no reason to believe that whatever issue she has isn't fixable.
I don't know. Her wings were kind of small. I mean, they're kind of as big as both biceps, so maybe she could fly around like he does. He does it in a really weird way, but I don't know if that's... I mean, sure, you're right. We never get a confirmation that she can't, absolutely cannot. We had that one episode where she was having a difficult time with it, but we don't know if that was a permanent fixture.
That was the washouts, I believe, and part of what attracted her to the washouts.
No. It wasn't the washouts. It was the Equestria game, like when they were doing their performance for the Equestria games, where like Diamond Tiara brought it up, like, "Hey, yeah, you can't fly." That's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, and that was part of the arc that, as I was gonna say, I believe got concluded in the washouts, because what attracted Scootaloo to the washouts was that they were able to do these things despite these amazing stunt shows, despite being misfits. And she looked up to that as somebody, and then when, you know, Rainbow Dash tried to confront her on how dangerous it was to be hanging around these people and how they're bad influences, she goes, "I can't fly." And that is and that registered with me as a confirmation in the canon of she has a disability. That, yeah, this person does bring up some good points. There is a lot we could have gone into and explored it in canon if we took the time and care to do so. Pardon me for a second. Sorry, I didn't want to cough into the microphone. Anyway, yeah, but also, so yeah, a confirmation that yes, she has a disability, that even though we're not going to go into the, you know, finer details of it, and B, Scootaloo herself coming to terms and making peace with the fact that she is disabled. And because she was kind of fighting it and trying to fly at any given opportunity up until that point. What do you think?
I get what the show is leaning towards, like the subtleties of it, with basically having a disabled character without straight out saying it.
Yeah, they wanted to have the best of both worlds. Like, oh yeah, we totally kind of have a disabled character, but we're not going to say that because then we don't have to confront the difficult parts of actually writing what it's like to live with a disability. But we're going to just very heavily imply it. They wanted the best of both worlds, but that kind of thing leads us to the situation of like, we don't have a concrete answer of whether she does or not.
Yeah, also, when it comes to fantasy world, you have to be very careful on what the disability is from, because when you have magic and potions and stuff, you have to make it that those aren't effective in solving those kind of issues for them to be made permanent disabilities. Like, in blindness is one of the most common ones you'll find in fantasy, and it's usually like they were poisoned by some kind of magic spell that took away their blindness rather than it being something natural.
It took away their blindness or gave it to them?
Gave them blindness. Took
Gave
away
them
their sight.
blindness, okay. Yeah.
Well, and
Something
you could,
magic led
because like you
made the
never
disability.
see someone who's like missing a leg, or because like they'll always like be like, oh, I have a peg leg, so it doesn't even matter, or hey, I have a robot fucking arm or something, so it doesn't matter.
well, let me see. There was the one Make-A-Wish character from Tradia that had like a standing wheelchair, like a walker, and there was a peg leg character in the Rainbow Road Trip.
Yeah.
And with the prosthetic leg, and they never even brought that up, which is fine. And of course
We
we've
didn't have
got
time to go into that.
well, and it wasn't really relevant. It was just kind of there, which is one of the best ways to go about that is just put it there. That's that representation that people are always on about. And then of course we had Fizzle Pop Berry Twist, who was so not at peace with her disability that she caused an entire movie.
Oh, that's always the best way to deal with your trauma.
Yeah, just ruin the entire country over it. So yeah, and that always drove me nuts about the back half of the show there, where they were realizing that they had to address these things. And something I said in a video a while ago about whether it was an analysis of whether or not Scootaloo would be able to fly, and the implications of it. I said, whatever they do, they gotta pick something and stick with it, and not be afraid of all the things that they did. And then they went ahead and did exactly what I said not to do.
They like doing that a lot.
Yeah, they did it with that. They did it with Taric. They did it with Flurry Heart. They did it with what makes an alicorn. They did it with a good few things, and was really hoping they wouldn't. And it's rough. You got this perfect show, and then they and they set up all this stuff, and then they never do anything with it. And shows do that all the time, and I don't know why they do that.
Probably because anything they want to do with it gets shut down by higher ups.
Yeah, that probably is it. We got people who don't know how to write in charge of the money. And that's it for this thread here. Let's see what else we got.
That was a good thread.
Yeah, who would win in a hoof wrestling? And we've got Applejack, who has lost the only hoof wrestle that she was on. Let's see here.
Hey, that was because she cheated. Because Rainbow was a cheating whore.
Yeah, and just off the screen here, we've got Applejack's butt. And then we've got bulk biceps.
I mean, how much hoof strength does he really have? He's got that like upper shoulder strength. That might be something.
I think he would wipe the floor with Applejack.
I want to see this guy do apple bucking. He neglects leg day. He'd be fucked.
Obviously he's all legs if you really think about it, but he neglects.
No, it's all in his shoulder, his butt, and his chest. Look at how skinny his legs are.
Yeah, the lower legs there. He doesn't work on his cannons. Which I don't know what to but yeah, with arm wrestling, those are the muscles that you need.
Maybe we gotta like really put some respect on his name, because I realize he's a Pegasus, and I feel like they established that by default Earth ponies are a little like more stronger in the physical sense. So he must have had to I don't know. I feel like a Pegasi is gonna have to be lighter by default to fly and all that crap to begin with. Magic be damned. So he must have had to work really hard to build that muscle mass.
They never quite went into it. I think I always got the impression that ponies were just ponies, and yeah, the ones with wings could fly and walk on clouds and control the weather, and then unicorns were usually had like specialized specific magic, and then Earth ponies had a stronger connection to the earth and got a lot of physical strength out of that. But but I'm pretty sure like their muscles are still their muscles, and that they work the same way that we might expect them to work. And that there probably isn't that much of a difference between the races as it is. So with all that being said, between Bulk having a huge size advantage, and all sorts of other stuff, I think he's got it, unless he just has absolutely terrible technique and or for whatever reason isn't willing to use his strength. And also Applejack lost to Rainbow Dash the only time that she ever hoof wrestled on screen.
Because she cheated. Doesn't count.
No. Rainbow Dash didn't cheat. And we talked about that a month or so ago. She didn't cheat. She had better technique.
Yeah, whatever. So the real fight I want to see is Big Mac and Bulk Biceps.
Now that's an interesting one, because we've got, with Big Mac and Bulk Biceps, we've got like functional strength versus bodybuilding strength, which are both strong, but they're different types of strong. And so then that's what
I'm leaning on here.
It's going to come down to technique.
I think we're undercutting Applejack and Big Mac, as they would be more strongman builds, where Bulk Biceps is clearly more bodybuilder.
I can see what you're saying.
I think Bulk is mostly for show.
Well, he is very strong, and we see that all the time whenever he's doing stuff. Like, I don't know what the deal is with his wings, and I would have loved an episode with him and Scootaloo talking about their tiny wings and whatever is up with that. But he got into the Wonderbolts, and he's lifting heavy objects.
Reserves.
You didn't get into no Wonderbolts reserves, Heather. It's still a very high level of flying there. Well, actually, I'll say that his level of flight capabilities are inconsistent, because he's making the first time we see him, he's helping with the tornado. Then the next time we see him, he's in the Wonderbolt reserve. He's in the Wonderbolt Academy. And then the next time we see him, he's struggling to get off the ground at the Equestria Games. And then the next time we see him, he's in the Wonderbolt reserves.
There's so much going on. Such a complex character.
Yeah, he wears many hats.
He still has to work a side job.
So many. Maybe he owes child support or something. I don't know. He's got to have like debts or something. Did he have student loans? He needs a lot of money, this guy.
He's got to keep up his steroid addiction.
Nah, he spends all his money on protein shakes.
Or maybe he just, loves working. Maybe he just has a lot of jobs because he likes doing all those things and he couldn't bring himself to quit any of his jobs. Like, he loves being a massage therapist. He loves selling freaking nuts. He loves lifting weights. He loves the Wonderbolts. He loves too many things, honestly.
God, Brawny, get out of the show.
God, look at you, Brawny.
And I pointed that out at, when I made that all bottled up video. I was like, somebody made this character watching me, and they need to stop doing that. So, I think that would be a really interesting arm wrestle between Big Macintosh and Bulk Biceps. I would put my money on Big Macintosh for endurance, because I would be willing to bet that when it comes to isometric endurance, a farmer is going to have a better chance there, just because they're doing it all day, every day. The endurance aspect is just default mode for them.
I don't know. His endurance might be something else too. I mean, like he works like 2 to 3 jobs in a day. You need a lot of endurance for that.
Yeah, but you also need a lot more like explosive power in bodybuilding and things like that. Now, isometrics is something that a lot of bodybuilders do train, so that just leaves the question of, does bulk train isometrics? But even then, there's a difference between training isometrics and living isometrics.
Never know.
Yeah, it's a debate, and people who are way more qualified than me have the debate back and forth all the time and disagree with each other. So I don't know. Let's see what the comments say. Somebody else, I'm talking too much. Somebody take over.
Let's see. Baron of Losers says, Bulk skips Hoof Day. He's losing this one with his T-Rex build. Sandbatty says more like Wing Day. Someone just says Applejack, no explanation. So why don't we scroll down a little to Traditional Cook 9126. It says there's a huge difference between trained muscles and strained muscles. Trained, mass, big muscles, ideally for bulk biceps or whatever his name is, strong but are only used in key exercises like dumbbell curls or archer push-ups, etc., etc. It's big and it's quite strong if you position yourself right. Now for strained, long-term useful muscles, which is Applejack's, she easily wins this. As for winning an arm wrestle, it's all about durability and endurance. You can be strong, but with a good defense, you're not getting past that. Along with the Earth Pony bloodline and genetic advantage with her 4-hour workout routine, Applejack wins, experience, strength, genetics, no difficulty, Celestia arm wrestling level.
That's basically what I was saying earlier.
Yeah, Callum Rose says, I remember seeing a video of a trained mountain climber versus a gym bro type performing multiple tasks. The MC had muscles but was not bulky like the gym bro, who looked nearly like a strongman. The MC won versus matches in arm wrestling, stamina, how long could hold itself up on bar as still push-up, etc., skeeving one of these devices that show grip strength, and a few MKRE. They did not proofread this. The GB only won heavy item lifting, and that punch machine you see in arcades. Muscles for show are different than practical muscles. AJ has practical, bulk is still strong, but his is for show mainly.
I get that, and that's why I'm saying it would be a lot more closer between Big Macintosh and bulk biceps, but between Applejack and bulk biceps, I think there's too much of a size disparity.
Scroll down a little. Let's see if there's more. Substantial Smoke 345 says, well, it doesn't seem that bulk biceps is having really super strong arms, and Applejack is an Earth Pony, so she'd literally have a magical advantage against him. Pickle Kitten 22 says, AJ will always win a hoof wrestle. And an Inkling of underscore says, AJ 100%. Comprehensive Self 23 says, Applejack because I am biased. Where Environmental 911 says, Applejack. Scroll.
Let's see here. Paladin saying, what does that word mean? And I'm assuming he means isometric. So Paladin, confirm that for me real quick. But isometric it's a strained, it's held into, it's an exercise where you hold a position or hold the weight against the resistance. So for example, a plank, a horse stance, a V-sit, these are body weight isometrics. Or if you say you get into a bench press position and then you only lower the weight halfway down, and just hold that. That's an isometric. Sometimes they're also called negatives. But yeah, so far in this thread, everybody's saying Applejack, but let's see if anybody has anything else to say.
Ron?
Huh?
Just gonna go to his
No, I haven't heard any. Apparently, we're having technical issues, and
yeah, on my end, you are glitching out every other word, and I think that's what they're hearing. And Paladin was responding to me, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I just my Discord just disconnected and reconnected, so we must be having some kind of connection issue.
DJ, can you hear us?
I was saying, I was like, you guys were going like one syllable at a time for like a minute there on my
so
end.
it was both of us.
Yeah.
I was like, is my internet failing?
Our internet.
No, it's definitely our internet, and I got to talk to the cable company about that. Stream, help me out here.
It was weird because you were going a syllable a minute, and suddenly you were like talking at 3 times speed, and then it all went quiet.
Stream, help me out here. How do I sound coming through to you guys? Because Discord's giving me some trouble.
Okay, so now Rusty heard you fine, but me glitching.
Yeah, that's because I heard you glitching and you were coming through, and the stream is hearing the sound that's coming through my computer. Let's move on to the next.
Also, look at my nails.
You have very nice nails, Heather, yes.
Okay,
Is Spike's unhealthy crush on Rarity supposed to have some kind of symbolism, or is it just for the funny? I think it's just for the funny.
What do you mean symbolism?
Come on, I'm coming. I have opinions.
The symbolism is that kids have crushes on older people.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, why do people keep acting like this is some weird, perverse thing? Like, kids get crushes on people who are older than them, and it's not even that bad of an age gap. Like, don't get me wrong, I think it's weird if they're in a relationship, but Rarity is about as old as Twilight, who is like an older sister, age-wise, to Spike. And I'm just like, yeah, that's kind of fucking normal for someone to crush on their older siblings' friends. It happens all the time. Rarity doesn't like take him seriously, which is how it should be. Now, if it was reversed and she had a crush on him, that'd be fucking weird. But yeah, why do people have like the ick?
Honestly, I don't think Spike is as young as people think he is. Like,
he's like
Twilight does not look all that old when she hatched him. At most,
we were there when he went through.
I think he's 10 years younger than her.
Yeah, we were there when he went through dragon puberty. He's got to be like 13 or something.
And I think we're looking at a 5 to a 10 year difference here, in the age.
That's what I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is roughly the age gap that Heather and I have.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, that's our age gap. If they're weird, we're super weird.
I mean, you do kind of make it weird sometimes, Heather. I'll be talking about I'll be talking about something that happened a certain year of my life, and she goes, "Oh yeah, I was in kindergarten."
You're. Yeah.
I'll be like, and that's how I had to get through a 5-on-1 gang fist fight to help my friends or something like that, and I had to do all this crazy stuff, and she goes, "Oh yeah, I was in kindergarten that year."
I'm just he'll just be like, "Yeah, I remember when I had to go to college and do this." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I remember high school that year." And he's just like, ugh.
It's not just high school. It's like I was in college or getting out of college, and you were like a freshman.
Well, that's not that weird.
Yeah. Thank God we met when you were 19. Otherwise, people would be.
Was I not 20? I feel like I was 20.
How old were you in February of 2015?
I don't remember.
You see, this was your first mistake, Heather, of not being born in a year that ends in like 0 or 5 to make the math easy.
You said 2015, right?
Yes.
I did. Oh, I was 20.
Okay, yeah. Well, the point is, thank God you were, a full-grown adult by the time we met. And nobody's gonna like say anything about that. I don't need any.
Groomer.
Yeah, I don't need anybody looking at me like Black Gryphon.
Yeah, if anything, I groomed you.
You kind of did, you psycho. But yeah, I think it's just
that's basically what the Spike Rarity relationship could be if it actually happened.
I think it's just for the funny here, but let's see. Is there anybody saying anything in the comments?
Which comments?
These
Every
comments.
comment.
Yeah. I think it exists to emphasize Rarity's beauty and charm. they're main traits of hers, but to showcase them, she needs to have admirers. Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, and Spike is beholding in this case. In addition to this, it highlights... Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, it didn't have to be him, but he was like the first guy in the series really that we paid any attention to. So I guess it would have to be him. Like, it's a trope. The pretty girl has like one of the guys like her, and he's the only guy. And there would be other people later on in the series who would find her appealing, like very many.
In addition, it highlights Spike's immaturity. Hey DJ, could you read this for me, please?
In addition to this, it highlights Spike's immaturity. From the aspects of not understanding social code, he doesn't register the inappropriate nature of a potential relationship between a person of Verity's implied age and his implied age. Lower level metacognition, i.e. a more mature character would be able to think about their own thinking and chide themselves about being so preoccupied in such an unhealthy way, as well as preoccupation with unrealistic goals. Often when a character exhibits this trope, a significant point of their coming of age will be finally letting go of said infatuation, as Spike eventually did.
And then Rarity had a conniption about that. I remember that episode.
In the Gabby episode?
Yeah.
Oh. I think she felt, I really should examine that episode, because I don't remember having a huge impression when I watched it, because I think I took it as, like, despite Rarity, like, not being interested in him in a romantic way, she always relied on Spike for a bunch of little things, and though it's not romantic, it was a relationship that means a lot to her, and Gabby threatened that in a way.
Yeah.
And she loves her little assistant.
She definitely enjoyed being able to monopolize Spike's attention when she needed to.
I try to imagine myself in the situation, because I've had more than a small child have a crush on me, because, like, I was a older girl volunteering in a elementary school class because it was my nephew's class. And I try to imagine it. I wasn't that close to the children, of course, but I try to imagine, like, a sweet little kid who would focus on me all the time. And I try to imagine, like, suddenly that kid finds me uninteresting. I guess I would be a little hurt by that. Like, oh, man, I guess I am not as cool as this kid thought I was. But I'd get over it pretty quickly. I don't think I would have done what she did. But it's a little different for them, obviously. And I obviously wasn't super close to the kids I was volunteering in the class for. I was mostly doing, grading tests and stuff for teachers.
The Burning Donut says, I've literally heard people use the words an adult minor. I've seen that too.
What the fuck does that mean?
It means
someone who's between the ages of 18 and 25.
What the fuck?
Yeah, but like I've seen 26-year-olds refer to themselves as a minor. In fact,
it's basically there so they can make believe that an age gap in a relationship is pedophilic.
It's
like,
not
don't
only,
get me wrong, there's weird shit, but like that's like their thing, man.
It's not only that, but it's like they never matured mentally, and now like
they know it, and they're kind of like, and they embrace it. Like, I'm not mentally mature, but I like that. I don't want to be responsible for anything. So if anything bad happens to me or anyone like I stupidly go into an obvious toxic relationship, obviously that person is equivalent to a pedophile because I refuse to take responsibility for my own actions.
There was a couple of years ago when there was that fad of women filming themselves in the gym, and anytime a man interacted with them, they would like freak out and try to ruin the person's life. And one of those went particularly viral, of this woman doing that. And one of the things that she said in her video while she's like recapping the situation here, playing the footage, is this guy is hitting on a 22-year-old minor. Like she's called her,
oh my God,
she called herself a 22-year-old minor. I've seen other people I've seen other people say call themselves I saw one lady call herself a 26-year-old minor, and she's like, "Oh, why do I have to pay back my student loans? I didn't know you actually had to pay those. I'm just a 26-year-old minor. I'm just a baby." I'm like, "What the frick? Oh my God."
People are disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, do they think that actually works? Do they think that people like are like, oh yeah, you poor innocent thing, or like they infantilize themselves and like they get all huffy when people don't respect them and think they're idiots? How do you?
It works
do
in
you
their
listen
close
to the,
internet circle.
like? Yeah, the people who like freaking humor that shit for you either think you're mentally handicapped or like are just doing it because I don't know, like in these gym chick cases, they're just simps that are like, oh yeah, what a bastard.
But
Not like the nice guy I am. I'm a nice guy. I wouldn't do that.
the culture at large doesn't know how to handle like people in their lives that are stunted maturely or with generally any kind of mental delusions or illnesses of like that. And so the only thing they know how to do in the current culture is just affirm, and affirming a delusion or a mental illness is the worst way to treat it. It's actively harming and doing more damage to the people if you affirm them. But yeah, that because nobody ever took these people aside and said, listen, this is the reality of the situation and you need to take responsibility for yourself and force them to deal with the consequences of that. They never learned it, and then we get people like this.
I guess if someone came up to, like, obviously if I saw that on social media, like, I'm an adult minor, I would just scroll away immediately because I'm like, I don't want to unpackage all of that. But if someone came up to me in real life, we're like, this shouldn't have happened to me, I'm being taken advantage of, I'm an adult minor, I guess my reaction would be to, like, kind of, like, nod and walk away because I would think they're a crazy person.
Yeah. Emerald Spencer says, remember that Spike at Your Service was meant to be a rarity episode, but they couldn't figure out how to write it without making her look mean.
So we're just going to make Applejack do it.
Applejack was very reasonable in that episode, though.
She's a farm pony. She has discipline.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let's move on. We'll do one more thread for tonight. What are your MLP episodes' unpopular opinions? Heather, take it away.
Not sure if this is considered one. From my own experience, most people don't like this episode, understandably so, but I like to look at it as a Trivial Pursuit as a Twily Nana's shitpost that snuck its way into the show scripts, which make it 10 times more enjoyable to me. At its core, yeah, it's absolutely out of character for Twilight. Like, this is probably the most egregious example, but it's like the funniest one to me. I actually don't remember this one very well. I don't remember what happened. I remember the way I felt. I remember being like, God, I hate this, and then never watching it again. That's what I remember from this episode.
It was kind of like Twilight got super serious about trivia and didn't want Pinky ruining her perfect score, and so like, did everything she could to not let Pinky participate. And the lesson was you got to not care so much about things that don't really matter.
Oh, God, I scratched myself on the face with my new nails, and it did leave a mark.
All right.
I know how I got these scars.
Want to know how I got these scars? I folded my hand closed next to my face, and the false nail I have was very sharp, and I scratched myself in the face with it.
All right, let's check the comments here. Take it away, guys.
You want to go, DJ, or me?
I'll go.
Okay.
So we got from Karamena Deal. Not going to try any better than that. Also, another one. The episode Triple Threat pisses me off. Everyone seems to get mad at Spike, but I don't think enough people acknowledge that Twilight not only fed into his fears, but enabled them. Then at the end, acted like it was all his fault. Starlight did the same thing, by the way. Just pisses me off.
But we expect that from Starlight.
Just pisses me off the most because it reminds me a lot of Lesson 0, and throughout that entire episode, Spike was supporting Twilight, trying to put her on the right track, and Twilight did not do the same for him. Which one was Triple Threat?
That was the one
Threat was the one where he came, where the Changeling King Thorax and Ember met. Like, he accidentally double booked his day, really. Right? Right? That's
don't-
the one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
okay.
I don't know. I think that just matches with Twilight. I mean, why wouldn't she be upset for him for double booking when literally his entire life has been nothing but checklists?
I think she also, we know Twily Nanas. Maybe she was going a little Twily Nanas with him. It just being like, yeah, I mean, we have the changelings who have been enemies in the past, and we have a dragon here who are known to be incredibly aggressive, and you double booked them. We already know that Ember has a hard time controlling her temper, and I know Thorax is a fucking marshmallow, but we've seen him go bear, so he clearly has the capacity here. So
Well, he had not gone. He
gotta...
had not gone bear before this episode.
That's
Before this episode, he was a perfect.
Anything.
Before this episode, he was a perfect cinnamon roll to everybody his whole life. That's why Pharynx was always like, "You got to grow a pair, dude."
And he actually kind of did in this episode since he tried to defend Spike from Ember.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he has gotten he was pretty good after that. He's actually a really decent leader.
I feel like I feel like I made a really
Spike.
good video on Triple Threat in the moral of the story. Let's see here. What other comments we got? Let's do one more comment.
You want me to do this one?
Sure.
I'll do this one, or
Yep,
if
go ahead.
you want to do it. Okay, so Shirt 1574 says Trixie was completely in the wrong in No Second Prances, and no one ever talks about it because she's so slay queen or whatever. You shut the fuck up, Shirt. No Second Prances. I'm trying to remember which one that was.
That was the one where where Trixie met Starlight.
Oh, okay. What? Not only did she guilt trip Starlight into helping her, but she was using her to get an edge against Twilight. That was not the original plan. She just kind of met her, and then she's like, "Oh, you're Twilight's protege, and I'm becoming a friend with you." That's gonna piss her off. Awesome, just nothing but freaking wins here. And when she gets caught, she has the absolute nerve to pull off such a stupid stunt in order to try and get Starlight back. And no, I do not consider the Manticore mouth dive suicidal. She very clearly did not intend to die that day, considering she screamed in terror and begged for Starlight to return. Edit, I don't find Trixie necessarily toxic or anything in this episode, but I feel like the fan base victimizes her a lot when criticizing this episode solely just so that they can give Twilight grief. Look, no. I want you to understand, Trixie is a serial bullshitter. She is used to just making shit up on the spot, so I am not the one to say that she guilt tripped anyone or really thought out anything in this episode. She met someone in a spa, they became friends, and then she's like, "Oh, you're Twilight's protege, and it's probably gonna piss off Twilight that I'm your friend, so this is awesome. Nothing but wins." And then the show came along, and she already had a trick planned, but now she doesn't have the person to do with it, so she was like, well, I guess I'll fall back onto my serial bullshittery. Either she's gonna help me or I gotta figure out another way out of this. She just hadn't figured out plan B. She just really put too much in plan A. I don't think that was a guilt trip. I think that was her just... I mean, she's Trixie. I'll just say it. Yeah, she is stupid. She does stupid shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it literally was a bonus to her. She just didn't say it well when she was explaining it to Starlight, because she found a friend and just I could just screw over Twilight at the same time. Bonus.
Yeah, this is awesome.
I want to look up that scene real quick, because Trixie really just can't do anything right. She never does. Let me see here. That was No Second Prances. I'll just pull up the episode and then I'll pull up the scene.
Yeah, because they have the whole episode on YouTube.
Yeah.
I love that shit now. We can just watch ponies for free. Who did this?
Which helps since it's leaving Netflix next month.
Oh, is it? Nah, I wouldn't know. I'm not keeping
Yeah, I
up
saw
on
that on
anymore.
Equestria Daily just a few minutes ago.
Did I give myself a hive? What?
All right, so let's see here. Found it. Just gotta pull it into this window. And here we go.
Replacement? Yes, but this is exactly why I didn't want you to make friends with Trixie. You still don't trust me. But guess what, princess? It doesn't matter if you want to give me a second chance or not. Starlight had to choose between you and me. And she chose me. Your pupil chose me. So, I win. You win? That sounds like you just made friends with me to beat Twilight. Exactly.
And there it is.
She's an idiot.
She's
an idiot.
But that's what her intentions were. And then she realized how freaking stupid that was after Starlight's reaction. Trixie didn't think it through. Her plan was get revenge on Twilight. Then she just saw, when she saw the collateral damage, she had regrets. In other words, she's not sorry. She's sorry she got caught.
Well, who amongst us isn't?
I think there's more to it.
Tell me.
Hit play.
Oh, play it.
Wait! I mean,
see, look at that face. Like,
I got
wait a minute.
caught up in the moment. I like you. Beating Twilight is just a bonus.
See, she is exactly like we said. She just said it. It's like, I like being friends with you. Being Twilight's just a bonus. I'm like, come on. You telling me you don't want to suck it to Twilight sometimes?
So, okay. So we've got a habitual liar here. This begs the question, was she lying before or is she lying now? Right? Because it's one of the two.
I think you can tell when she lies. Like, she lies. She does not lie well. Like, you know when she's lying.
As soon as she said it, she's like, crap, I did not mean it that way. I did not mean it that way.
Oh, saying that she interrupted it.
Like she said, she got caught up in the moment.
I should have known. No pony else in Ponyville wanted to be my friend. Why would you?
Wait! It's not like that. I am your friend.
You got a funny way of showing it there, you frickin' tard.
She doesn't have friends. How would she have experience? No one likes her.
Yeah.
YouTube Studio saying, heads up, we've detected a video in your stream belonging to someone else. Whatever.
Shut up, YouTube.
It's called called commentary, God almighty. I literally put it in the tags. It's analysis. I've been doing this since 2012. Get off my case. All right, so let's see here. You guys are pretty much... This guy's pretty much saying what you guys were saying, so I think that's a good spot to wrap that up here. There's just a couple of things I saw on the sidebar here that I was kind of interested in real quick. So why does this guy say, I wish I was a brony? Somebody read this.
Yo, so I'm in my early 20s, and I grew up actually being a fan of MLP, but growing up with toxic masculinity, I never really got into it as much as I would have wanted. I don't know, lately I've been wishing I just gave in to my interest when the show was out and got into the fandom. I mean, I watched a decent chunk of the fan content, whether it was good, bad, or horrifying. As someone who missed out during the peak of this fan base, I want to know some things that you think I should watch, do, or buy. By the way, I never actually finished the show, just watched episodes randomly when no one was at home. Lol.
Well, congratulations back to Datuna. You are a brony. So your wish has been granted.
I've seen people call themselves bronies by doing less with it.
Yeah. I've seen people call themselves bronies and haven't even watched the show. They literally just called themselves a brony because they like Fallout Equestria.
Yeah, you're more brony than them.
Yep. How about this one?
Hold on. My frickin' shit's being stupid. I got into the fandom just about a year ago. We may have missed the peak, but the community is still active in making content. For suggestions, my first one is watching Friendship is Magic. The show is so good from beginning to end. Watch Equestria Girls too, if that's not enough. For fanmade stuff, my favorite song is the Brony Polka because it's a compilation of popular fan songs from back in the day in Weird Al's polka style. If you like any of the segments of that song, use the credits to find the original songs.
Yeah, so we got some young blood in here, which is pretty cool. And then there was this. I'm searching for a cute, non-safe for work Dakimakura of Pinky. Well, first of all, you suck. and you should feel bad. Dakimakuras are cancer. Go touch grass. I hate you. The cat hates
Just
you
a
too.
body pillow, Brawny.
Also, you're gonna have a hard time looking for a non-safe for work Dakimakura. That's practically an oxymoron. Does anybody else want to comment on this, or should we just end the stream?
I don't really think I have anything of note to add to that.
Alrighty then,
Not
and
to
then
that one. I mean.
and then Rusty says, Heather, your southern accent makes that better. Paladin was wondering why you read it in that voice. I'm wondering why there's a cat making so much noise in my office.
Because that's what they
I
do.
thought he was in the kitchen.
Well, there might be a cat in there, but I've got the other one. You know what? I think he wants to get out. Let me let him out of the room, and then we're going to close up the stream here.
Even Rusty's going, it's a body pillow, Brawny, calm down. Just make a SpongeBob reference. Calm down, it's just a body pillow.
Okay, so that was a good set of threads, and we've got more on standby for the next time, as well as a community soapbox, which unfortunately, as I've looked ahead, does not include our old friend Double C.
Did we do the one from November, the end of November?
I believe this one is that I've got pulled up is from the end of November. I'm trying to find the date on it. This was from December 31st.
December.
Okay. I thought we were caught up. Hang on.
That is the most recent one.
Yeah. So, all right. Thanks everybody who tuned into the stream. I hope you had fun listening in. Don't forget, guys, you can always call in the call-in server there. It's linked at the very top of the description. Forgot to point that out. But yeah, we are we'll be back in about a half hour to play some Mass Effect so I can give my voice a rest because I am straining right now. Anyway, it's been lovely. Have a wonderful night. Thanks to everybody who gives me money, especially Heather and DJ. But there's also Shady Oak, Autoknight, Emerald Spencer, Senko, Rain, Billy, Alden, Kanto, Mr. Sonic, Alicia, StarChaser, VentureCorp, Willyzin, Icanus, Vulpecula, Jimmy, J. Yoshi, Raptor's Talon, and Dark Malcontent. Check out the links in the description to see their stuff and then what you can get in return for supporting the channel. We need more supporters on this channel, so show it to all your Brony friends. And with that, stay safe, God bless, and we'll see you next time. Say goodnight, everyone.